Hello children. So this session is about magnetic properties in solids. So this is the last session of the chapter solid state in which we are going to study the magnetic and dielectric properties in solids. Right? So what is this magnetic property? You see, each electron in an atom has magnetic moment. Actually, any charged moving particle generates electric and magnetic motion around it, right? So each electron is also a charged particle and keeps on moving, so it also is associated with some magnetic moment, right? Now this magnetic moment of electron actually originates from two sources. It is because of two reasons. Number one is its orbital motion around nucleus, right? You know that electron revolves around the nucleus, so that orbital motion is the first reason of its magnetic characteristic. And second is a spin of electron around its own axis. So as you know about Earth, the planetary motion of Earth, you know that Earth revolves around the sun as well as it rotates around its own axis. Similarly, electron spins around its own axis as well as it rotates around the nucleus. So both the motion of electron are responsible for its magnetic moment, right? Now the solids, we are going to study magnetic properties in solids. Now solids that have completely filled orbitals are not permanently magnetized. Like helium, neon, they have permanently filled orbitals, so they are not permanently magnetized. Actually, magnetism is related to unpaired electrons. The solids which have unpaired electrons, they are normally magnetized. So on the basis of this characteristic, we will study the different kind of magnetism or magnetic properties in solids. Number one is diamagnetic property. Now what is this diamagnetism or diamagnetic property? The compounds or substances which exhibit diamagnetic property, they do not have unpaired electrons. So in them all the electrons are paired. Since they have no unpaired electrons, so no magnetic character they show. Example is NaCl. Second is paramagnetic substances. This you have studied earlier in class 11th also. Paramagnetic substances are those which contain unpaired electrons in them, right? A very good example that you have studied in class 11th in molecular orbital theory was oxygen. Oxygen is a paramagnetic substance, right? So they contain unpaired electrons, and because of unpaired electrons they show magnetic characteristic. However, they are weakly attracted by magnetic field and lose their magnetism in absence of magnetic field. So if magnetic field is removed, then they lose their magnetism also. The example of such paramagnetic substances is oxygen, copper ion. Then the third category is ferromagnetic substances. Now the solids are said to be ferromagnetic if they have unpaired electrons. So since they have unpaired electrons, they will also show magnetism. But ferromagnetic substances, they have unpaired electrons and they show permanent magnetism. And they do not lose their magnetism even in absence of magnetic field. So this is how they are different from paramagnetic substances. Paramagnetic substances lose their magnetism in absence of magnetic field, while ferromagnetic substances, they do not lose their magnetism in absence of magnetic field. So they show permanent magnetism. Example is iron, cobalt, nickel, they are all ferromagnetic substances. This ferromagnetic characteristic could further be divided into three more subdivisions. Again, we have ferromagnetism. It is the same. That is, the ferromagnetic substances, they are attracted very strongly by the magnetic field and can be permanently magnetized. The example are the same, cobalt and nickel. The seventh category in ferromagnetic substances is antiferromagnetism. Antiferromagnetic substances have equal number of parallel and anti-parallel electrons. So you know that electrons in orbitals are arranged either in parallel or in anti-parallel way, right? So they have equal number of parallel and anti-parallel electrons, so their net magnetic moment gets cancelled because of these equal number of parallel and anti-parallel electrons, and so their net magnetic moment is zero. And they have, however, they have unpaired electrons, but still you see their net magnetic moment is zero. However, earlier we have seen that if the unpaired electrons are there in the solids, it shows magnetism, but here it is different. They have the unpaired electrons, but still their magnetic moment is zero. It is because of the equal number of parallel and anti-parallel electrons which cancel the magnetic moment. The third category in ferromagnetic substances is ferrimagnetism. Ferrimagnetic substances have unequal number of parallel and anti-parallel electrons. So because of this unequal number, their magnetic moment is not cancelled, so they have some net magnetic moment. They are weakly attracted by magnetic field as compared to ferromagnetic substances. Example, Fe3O4. So Fe3O4 is a ferrimagnetic substance. So this is about magnetic properties in solids. Further, we have the dielectric properties in solids. Now let us understand it. Dielectric properties. Now here we will study about the conduction of electricity in insulators. You see, we know that insulators do not conduct electricity at all, right? But under the electric field, if electric field is applied to the insulators, the dipoles may be created. The dipoles may be created due to polarization. So under the influence of electric field, the insulators may also conduct electricity. It is because the dipoles may be created on them. Now what are these dipoles? Dipoles means two poles. Two poles means positive pole and negative pole. So if polarization occurs, then the dipoles may be created in the insulators. Now these dipoles again, as I say, the positive and negative pole. Now these dipoles may align themselves in three ways. Number one, these dipoles that are created in the insulator, they may align in ordered manner such that they have net dipole moment, or the dipoles may align such that dipole moments cancel each other. And the third is that the dipoles are not at all present in the insulators. So these are the three ways in which the dipoles may be aligned in the insulators on application of electric field on it. On this basis, the three or four types of electric effect we are going to study. Number one is piezoelectricity or piezoelectric effect. So crystals are said to exhibit piezoelectricity when they have net magnetic moment, right? And on external pressure, electricity is produced on them, right? So the substances, in these substances, when some external pressure is applied, the electricity is produced. This effect is called piezoelectricity. And the gramophone records, they act on this piezoelectric effect. They show this piezoelectric effect. On applying the pressure, external pressure, the electricity is produced on them. Second effect is pyroelectric effect. Now this pyroelectric effect is producing electric current on heating. So when a substance is heated and if it produces electric current, you say that it is showing pyroelectric effect. The third effect is ferroelectricity. In some insulators, the dipoles remain permanently aligned in particular direction, even in absence of external electric field, right? So the substances in which the dipoles remain permanently aligned, whether the external electric field is removed or it is still there, the dipoles once aligned remain permanently aligned in a particular direction, right? So such substances which exhibit some dipole moment even in the absence of external field, They are said to exhibit ferroelectricity. Example of such substances BaTiO3. The fourth type of electric effect is anti-ferroelectric substances or anti-ferroelectric effect. Now, in these substances which exhibit this anti-ferroelectric effect, the dipoles align themselves in such a way that net dipole moment is zero. The dipoles, they cancel out each other, their alignment is such that they cancel out, and the net dipole moment in them is zero. So example of such a substance is PbZrO3, which is also lead zirconate, right? So you have to study these electric effects, and this is the last part of the chapter, in which these electric effects you have to study only this much, nothing more in detail. And with this we finish our chapter solid state. Go through the ISC questions, children, and soon we are going to start with the new chapter. Goodbye.